Okay, there we are. Gotta turn the microphone on, y'all. What's up, everyone? How are you doing? Welcome. Another live stream. Adrian, thanks for, I guess, the re-membership or re-sub. Or is this your first, actually? I don't know. Because people that are in silver, gold, diamond have, I think once a month, they can like show this message. But Adrian, by all means, welcome to silver, man. Welcome to the team. Second step on the podium. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining. And short-term update. Send me an email, koenztrading@outlook.com, and I will get you sorted. What's up, everyone? Good to have you all here. Saraga, Hiob, Mido, Karim, Legionario, Adrian, greetings, and thanks for joining once again. Send me that email, right? koenztrading@outlook.com. SK, good to have you here as well. Where can we get the playlist? I mean, I don't even know if it's public. I just mean stream intro playlist, and I only have these two songs that I use. The others I can actually remove because I never really use them. But it's Dreamer by Alan Walker and Samurai by Jim Joseph. Those are the two songs that I have for the beginning of the live stream. Pretty much. Usually Samurai is the only one, but this time my timer was 5.5 minutes. So. Golden Puzo, welcome. I asked what will happen to Bitcoin after completing the even atom in 15 minutes. I don't know patterns. In the past, I studied them, but I haven't used them for years. So an even atom pattern is something that I would even need to Google, and then I can explain it probably. But I wouldn't even know anymore what an even atom pattern is. Even atom. I absolutely have no clue anymore what this is. Adam, Eve. Yeah, from an Elliott Wave point of view, you can count this multiple ways. Eve is not as low as Adam. So you can count this as a wave. Can you actually see this, by the way? Yeah. So you can count this move as a wave A, B, C, and then a return to the downside because Eve is so low compared to Adam. Or you have a 1, 2, 3 where 2 hits the 886, so lower probabilities in this particular case, right? If you take this Eve, so it depends how low Eve is. That's what we're saying. If Eve doesn't touch the 886, you could have a 1, 2, 3 here or ABC and you go down. So yeah, that's the thing with the patterns, right? You got to be very safe. Yeah, you can take the high. If Adam to the high here is a 5-wave structure, you can go down in an Eve and you expect the high to be taken either in a fake out, ABC down, or WXY down, or 1, 2, 3 and continuation. So it very much depends on like I see it, of course, from an Elliott Wave point of view, I suppose. Wolfgang, how are you doing? JZ, welcome. Barbie, what's up? Crypto Aman, 5 min, 15 min. Nothing going on with CVD. We have 1 hour bullish CVD divergences, but locally here, right? Nothing going on. At the moment, it's just you need to give price time to range. At the moment, this is just ranging. There's nothing to see here with regards to the CVD divergences at the moment, which is also the reason why in the update earlier this morning I actually didn't cover CVD because we need to wait for a bit of a solid range to form. Adil, welcome. Puran, good to have you here from New York, other side of the world. Tim Johnston, Kevin, Desinnovation, good to have you here. MS, welcome. Gustav, watching from the garage and Trading Queen is changing the tire of the motorcycle. You got it sorted out, eh, Gustav? What kind of bike do you have? What bike do you have? I love bikes, man. I'm a biker myself. You got it sorted out. Greetings to Trading Queen, by the way. What's up, Barbie? How you doing? Bina, Christian, Polar Bearman. Hello. B-Channel, what's up? How you doing? Mark, good to have you here. Marta, Lowry, Gerard from Paraguay. Holy moly. Is that wave 4 under 5 minutes, 15 minutes? So if you're new to Elliott Waves and not like, so I think in general, before we go into, so in this live stream, we're of course going to cover Elliott Waves and I have to go at a few minutes past 4 p.m., in about 30 minutes. Because I am going to have a barbecue with my friends, so I will no update tonight. But I recommend if you're doing Elliott Waves to focus on the 50 minutes or higher. 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, that's very low time frame. Things change constantly. And it's easier to do the 15 or higher. Now, there are a few that I know that do trade Elliott waves on low time frames with a very clear plan. Yeah, I would definitely just be patient. 50-minute time frame, we're close to support here as well, which would be nice to hit, to be honest. So yeah, with regards to is this a wave 4 in the 5 minutes, you're then probably counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But there's, I don't know where price really bounced. There's not great support here. Probably it's a SR level. But I'm not really, is this, no, we didn't, like we're literally in the middle of nowhere pretty much. It's only this little bit that is where we're bouncing now. So look, maybe on a 1 minute time frame, but it's not really something I'm looking for here. We've been going down all the time, and this is the first area of support where I get interested. And if this is a wave 4, I think it already retraced too deep now. So yeah. Where were we? Balls, my view is by Elliott Wave impulse move has happened from 66k to 7. Now we are in a wave C near to end and moving 3. Yeah, we're going to cover Elliott Waves. What's up, Cryptos here? Good to have you here. Ali, welcome. Supermoto. Wow, nice. You can go on the dirt roads. What's up, Obelix? What price marks would bring you in a short and long trade from now on? You, of course, need your plan and your strategy to decide when you are going long or short. I have my areas of interest. I know where I want to long or short, but it always depends on what I see. So even if I tell you like, well, we got support here, I'm interested in a long, which I am, it very much depends on the reaction. Because if we do this, you know, high volume, no strength, no proof of support, I'm not interested. So it very much depends on what price does when it hits certain areas. And what you use to observe strength is, of course, something personal. You know, that's up to you. So, okay. We're going to cover Elliott Waves. I only have 30 minutes left, and then I have to go again. So let's jump to the higher time frame. Actually, go to the daily here. And cover the different scenarios. I see I still have the folder of this morning. I'm doing some educational videos in gold, but I already finished this, so I can remove this now. There we go. Put CVD down here. Okay. Timestamp, yeah, timestamp indeed. Lowry, enjoy the barbecue. Thanks, Jose. Ramiro, welcome. What's the C target? Has it been hit? On the hourly, the move towards the downside is not counted for me as an ABC anymore. It's an impulsive structure, higher probability. Bettina, welcome. Andy, good to have you here. Okay, let's start. Now, nothing, like honestly, nothing really changed compared to the morning update. But as you know, in a live stream, I always talk more about scenarios than I do in a very short video, because in the videos, I keep it short and concise. So we start now at 13 minutes and 30 seconds. For the VOD viewer, if you're here, then no update tonight because I have a barbecue today on the 9th of May. Let's start analysis. Though with regards to the scenarios as mentioned, nothing really changed. We're just grinding to the downside. We want to see that 2-hour gap fill, but in a live stream, I usually talk more about scenarios. So there's always some new stuff to say, I suppose. The bearish scenario here, which I think is very interesting from a psychology perspective, is a wave A, 1, 2, B, C, 3. Now we have a leading diagonal in wave 1 or wave A, right? And in this scenario, wave 5 is shorter than wave 3. That is what we like to see. 4 shorter than 2. That's also what we like to see. Wave 3, however, is a little bit longer than wave 1. It's not an invalidation. It does impact the probability slightly negatively, but it is allowed. Then we have our wave 2 or B to the upside. Common target area for your B is the 382.886 from the high to the low, 63.1K, 71.9K. Common target for 2 is the red area, 05786, 65.1, 70K. After this 2B, we want to see a move down. Now, wave 2B has to be a 3-wave structure. So with the impulsive move to the upside here, ideally, we are looking for a wave A, B, and then a wave C to the upside, finishing at least after the 382 fib time, sitting on the 19th of May, taken from the start to the low of 1 or A. It is very uncommon for structures to finish before the 0.382. So that is something that we're going to keep an eye on, right? So we still have a couple of days for this scenario to finish preferably. Invalidation is clear, taking the all-time high. Why this scenario is so interesting from a psychology perspective is because with this impulse to the upside, and I mentioned it shortly in the update earlier today, with this move to the upside, you see bullish sentiment all over the market again. Right, people looking for all-time highs. We have an impulse up. The low is in. What I think is very interesting is if you get an ABC zigzag, it might mimic an impulse. So what people then look for is a 1, 2, 3 to new highs. Instead, you get an A, B, and a wave C. Wave C preferably ending on high volume to really mimic that wave 3 behavior, but then go down again, creating a triple top at the high. People are going to think, shit, we're going to go, right, back to onto 100K. Early buyers, people buying, expecting all-time highs, and then instead we go down, move down in a wave C or 3. Now, an ABC has a higher probability than the impulse to the downside. So wave A, B, C, then move back towards the upside has a higher probability. But from a psychology perspective, I think it's interesting to, if you move up once more, get some more greed, some more FOMO, you know, like we want to see that in the market, everyone happy, the dog talking about Bitcoin and grandma again to all-time highs and whatnot. And then you do this. And then the people that have longed early in this move towards the upside will be stopped with the stop loss below the low, which I think would be nice to see. So yeah, very, very interesting indeed. Now, the most bullish scenario is, of course, this scenario, right, where the low is in and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? That makes sense. You don't expect the low to be taken. And I already spoke about the psychology scenario where you do want to take this low, counter the sentiment. I call like counter sentiment scenarios, usually like psychology scenarios, but it is pretty much reflected in what I show here, which I think is very, very interesting. Now, if we want price to move towards the upside, either in a 5 or a 3-wave structure, 5 meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, higher prices, or a wave A, B, C, and then price moving down, right, to finish that B or 2, as just shown, right? What we are looking for is a 3-wave corrective structure in 2 or B. At the moment, this is pretty much a straight line to the downside. If this continues, we're simply looking for new lows already. Now, the weekend is coming up. We do have some news tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central European time, so there might be some volatility. But as the weekend is coming closer, generally, price starts to go into a range. We're not there yet. We still have volatility to come today, tomorrow, but we have to be mindful of the weekend. But as long as price is doing this, there's no nice 3-wave structure. At the moment, this looks better like an impulse down compared to this being an ABC down. So preferably in wave 2 or B, what we're looking for is a 3-wave structure. A bigger 3-wave move and then continuation to the upside, where this move down is only your first structure. Now, the common target for your wave 2 is again the 05786 from the low to the high, 61K to 58.4K. Your wave B common target is also the 886 together with all the other fibs on my chart. Fib time is already respected because if wave 2 or B would end somewhere here, then it ended after the 0.382. Now, as mentioned, preferably we are still looking at a bigger 3-wave structure before continuation. If you do not get that bounce towards the upside, right, we're going to look for pretty much the lows, because this so far is just a straight line to the downside pretty much. So that is quite important. And as explained, we are then looking for a 3-wave structure, right, in wave 2 or B, which is reflected in what you see here. Open support as well. So here we then have our wave 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and then looking for a 5 to the downside in this scenario. 1, 2, 3, sideways 4, and then one more move to the downside in 5. Would be nice to get that move down, hit the support area. To be honest, we're also in the middle of the 2-hour gap. So on the 2-hour time frame, let me jump there. We have this gap over here, right? And we close the candle inside the gap, increasing the probabilities to fill the gap. And now we closed even more candles in the gap and even retested the high of the gap. So it would be nice to fill that gap as well. We have the support area down here as well, right? And with regards to the bullish scenario, this is preferably where you hold, because else it starts to be very deep. Reason is that this target box here is in confluence with your golden pocket fib. And that is fine. You can have a first wave A finish at the golden pocket, move up for B and down for C to the 786 area. But if wave A by itself moves to the 786, that's not great. That's very deep for a wave A, because then you need a very deep B and a relatively shallow C not hitting the 886 if you're a bull, right? So preferably this area then holds and you get a bounce towards the upside looking for your B. If it doesn't, I mean, we're pretty much looking for the lows kind of. So yeah, important to keep an eye on the three-wave structure. Still expecting this gap to be filled sooner or later, either directly or first maybe move up for B and then a move down. But now that you're already in the gap, would be nice to do it directly and just fill that gap. So let's jump to the higher time frame again, to the daily. Your most bearish scenario in this case, 1 second, because I actually have an even more bearish scenario. Is it this one? No, not that one. Where did I actually put it? Oh, here, I found it. Oh, I'll talk about it. So your bearish but eventually bullish scenario is what you see on the chart here. We're going to talk about probabilities in a second, by the way. So we have our W, we have our X, and then we're looking for a wave Y. Here, we don't expect price to move above 65K. You want to see the lows taken directly, right? So we have a regular flat in W, running flat in X. Now, a running flat in X here is a very rare flat pattern, never preferred unless all of the other stuff fails, which therefore also means that the probabilities for this scenario are not great because of the running flat in X compared to the other scenarios shown, like the diagonal ABC and potentially low in and continuation. It's a running flat is very rare. Most common flat is an expanding flat where you want to see wave C move above A. Then you have a regular flat, second most common, still less common, right? A, B, and then wave C just takes the high of A, creating more of a ranging structure, A, B, C. And then the running flat where C doesn't take the high of A is rare. So therefore never preferred unless the other stuff fails. Nonetheless, in this scenario, you're looking for a wave Y to the downside, WXY. Wave Y can be a zigzag structure, 5, 3, 5. Remember the ABC that I spoke about just now. You can have a bullish ABC here, preferably bouncing on the golden pocket first, move up for B, go to the 786, and then move up. If this move down gets too low, probabilities increase that your C is going to take the low, and then we have to think about a potential Y, zigzag in a wave Y, 5, 3, 5. Wave Y can also be a flat, ABC, or a triangle structure, but a triangle is rare though. Common target for your wave Y is the 618 to the 1.236 trend-based fib extension from the start to the end of W to the end of X, 56.7K, 47.9K, which would be very low. And then we have the 1.618 extension target, which is uncommon / rare, 42.4K. Invalidation is the high of this move. And on the lower time frames, you will be looking for pretty much the same structure. Because in that wave Y, you're also looking for an A, B, and then a wave C, but C is going to take the low of your structure here, right? 56K, and your wave A is allowed to be very deep, hitting the 786 or even the 886. If that happens, it does increase probabilities to take that low sooner or later. Now, your most bearish scenario, I just want to highlight it. I don't know if Stuba is here, is your Stuba's hourly inconsistent bear pose. Now, I gotta say, Stuba, if you're here, you're slacking today because I haven't seen it in the chat or I have missed it, but then it wasn't posted every hour, right? But that's why the word inconsistent is there, which he mentioned himself, by the way. So he just made sure that people don't only have bullish glasses, you always need a bearish scenario and a bullish scenario as an Elliott Wave analyst. So the most bullish scenario of bearish scenario is, of course, multiple 1-2s, lower probability, we have our wave 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 here, right? And the volume is not yet really cooperating for this scenario. Volume moving down as price is moving down. We do eventually want to see a surge in volume to the downside. Also important, preferably after your third 1, 2, you really start to see some action. And we got this, and then we went sideways again. The more you go sideways, the lower the probabilities, because what you're looking for, especially after the third 1, 2 kind is that move down, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You want to see a big wave 3 to the downside, and not like another range, right? Small move, another range. That is higher probability, or gives higher probabilities to a wave A, like a 5-wave structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a bounce to the upside. But it is a scenario we keep in mind. Now, what do you have to pay attention to? If price does move down and we have a lot of volume coming in, right? It does increase probabilities for this scenario, even though currently probabilities are low. And if we just come down like we already do, currently highest probabilities for a wave A, and then you expect to move towards the upside back for a wave B. So pretty much mentioned at the beginning, observing the reaction is always very important. What's going to happen here? If we see proof of support, can be interesting for potential long, expecting then price to move somewhere like this. Like the first area of support that I have here, 59.4 to 60K. Then we have the box above, 63.4 to 63.7K. Now finally, the most bearish scenario, and then we go to the probabilities of the different scenarios, so you know what has the highest and lowest probabilities. This is the most bearish scenario, where you have 1, 2, 1, 2, and a move towards the downside here. I'm not sure if Flotty is here because pressing the buttons, but if you are here, welcome, mate. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. I see the hearts coming in. 1, 2, 1, 2, and we expect a very big wave 3 to the downside. Now, this probability, or this scenario has lower probabilities compared to the bullish scenarios for 3 reasons. 1, this wave 2 hit the 886, taken from the high to the low of 1, and the 886 is rare for 2, common for a B or a wave X, increasing probabilities. Any structures after are corrective, increasing probabilities to take the highs sooner or later. Number 2, this blue wave 1 is a lower degree wave 1, right? You have a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, finishing red 3, then another 4 and 5 in red. So the blue count is part of wave 3. But this blue wave 1 is longer in time and price compared to your red wave 1, which does lower probabilities for this scenario. And finally, your wave 2 here is a running flat structure in an ABC, and as explained, a running flat is rare, never preferred unless all of the other stuff fails. And even if for whatever magical reason this is a wave 4, which it has low probabilities that this move down is a wave 4, and you would end wave C here, and therefore wave 2. It ends after the 1-to-1 fib time, comparing red 2 with blue 2 in time, and that makes the blue 2 longer than the red 2, again lowering probabilities. So yeah, not great probabilities for that very bearish scenario. Doesn't mean you can't take the lows, because as explained, that is very interesting. So from a probability perspective, on the 15-minute, let's start on the lower time frame this time. So on the 1 hour, let's start with the 1 hour time frame. So on the 1 hour time frame, sooner or later, we're still expecting lower. We're expecting this gap to fill, price to hit the support area over here, either directly, right? Currently highest probabilities to then finish a first structure in an A, potentially B, and then a wave C, right? Looking for a bigger 3-wave structure. So on the 1 hour time frame, or 50-minute, preferably, or what am I saying? Not preferably, it's probabilities. Probabilities from an Elliott Wave point of view are higher to still move towards the downside, together of course with the gap over here and looking for some solid support. Currently probabilities locally are higher that this is a 5-wave structure than looking for a bounce and continuation to the downside, because the 1112 has lower probabilities than this being a potential wave A. So interesting to look over here for support, and if we do see some support or strength, could be interesting for a long, yes or no. No financial advice. Very much depends on the reaction over here. Highest probability here is for this move to the upside to be a wave A or a wave 1, meaning taking this high before taking the low. The only reason for this is that for price to first take the low, this has to be a wave C and then an ABC running flat, and the running flat is rare, never preferred unless all the other stuff fails, and failing would mean pretty much touching the 886 and moving to the low. So unless invalidation is hit, highest probability is to take the high before the low, but then it could be very interesting to still come down later. But on the daily time frame, probabilities are neutral because we just observe what happens locally. And I think I wrote that here as well because, yeah, this is from this morning where I wrote on the daily probabilities neutral. Of course, we have this structure here, right? A01, 2B, C3. ABC has a higher probability in that case. You have the WXY. This one has lower probabilities, by the way, compared to the diagonal. If we do talk about because of the running flat. So this ABC has higher probabilities than the WXY. And the bullish scenario has higher probabilities than the WXY, just because of the running flat. So because these two, at the moment on the daily, because of the running flat, which really lowers probabilities for the WXY, because on the daily, these two have a higher probability, it impacts the probabilities on the 1 hour to take the high before the low. What happens after very much depends on price action. Either we go for 2B and move down in C3, take the low, or you continue to all-time high. We just observe the reaction, right? We don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see, because in both cases, you would expect an ABC up or a 1, 2, 3 up. Highest probabilities. It's all probabilities. If we do lose that local support here, that wouldn't be great, by the way. So probabilities from an Elliott Wave point of view on the daily are either this, ABC, compared to the impulse down. ABC has a higher probability, or you continue the uptrend. On the 1 hour time frame, probabilities are higher to look for this high, right? 65K before, maybe later, going down below 56K, just because this else, in a bearish scenario, this has to be a wave C, making this a running flat, which is very rare, never preferred, unless everything, all the other stuff fails, which means this has to fail. So that's why the probabilities are higher for the 1 hour / 4 hour time frame to look for upside. But locally, on the 1 hour, probabilities are higher for downside, to fill this gap sooner or later to the golden pocket, either directly, which would be nice, or potentially a 3-wave structure, and then find support and move towards the upside. That's that. That's pretty much it. Those are the probabilities. That's what we're looking for as well with regards to the different time frames and Elliott waves and the scenarios. So yeah. Okay, so that being said, let me shortly answer the questions because I have to go in 8 minutes. Elliott Wave analysis at, I forgot, 10:30? I forgot. What's up, Stefano? Good to have you here. Polar Bearman. What's up? Perkeo, welcome. Macron. Ain't a zigzag preferred in X? No, that's not a hard rule. X can be any corrective structure. Can be a triangle, flat, zigzag, triple zigzag, double zigzag, running flat, expanding flat, regular flat, triangle, right? So it can be anything, but a zigzag is most common. But it can be anything. I was thinking about this diagonal star a few days ago. The only thing that really suited me was wave 2, which went very high. Correct. Wave 2 went to the 886, which is not great, but in a diagonal, it does happen more often than a regular impulsive structure where you expect a big wave 3 after. So take it, that it's something to keep in mind at least. And it's good that you pay attention to it. Welcome, Zero, by the way. Charbel, welcome. A topping till, liquidity run. Is it possible to drop when it's halving? I think the halving already finished, no? I mean, we already went past the halving. So, yeah, I mean, there's absolutely still a scenario where you drop below 56K. Yeah, that would be the ABC preferably. First, fake out that move to the upside, not take all-time high, creating a triple top and then move down. That would be hilarious. Yeah, it would be very nice, no? Yeah, okay, so this is where we were. Cool. Then we covered it. How deep can the most bearish scenario go? Below 15K. because that is the impulse down. That's that very bearish scenario that I showed, right? 1 2 1 2 running flat in the second wave 2 down below 15k, which has low probabilities as explained, but it's something we just have to keep in mind. Sorry, Mark. Yeah, usually I remember because I look at the timer and I'm like, okay, you know, 10 minutes 30. I forgot if it was 10:30 or 11:30, but I'll do the timestamps when I'm in the train. So when I'm in the train, I'm going to put the timestamps down. Patrick, welcome. Good to have you here as well. B channel, man. Just before ending this live stream, B channel at it again. B channel, what do you want me to say, man? This guy, I'm lost in words. I've pretty much used all of the amazing words to say thank you and appreciate it, and like thanks for the support. The community values your gifts undoubtedly as well. I don't know what to say anymore. It's amazing. Yahop Shop. Errol, Jen Hartle, Mido, THC to BTC. There you go. That's an interesting one. Send me an email, koenztrading@outlook.com, and I will get you sorted because this gift is a bronze membership and I will bump you up to silver. So send me an email and I will make sure to bump you up to silver. So yeah, Yahweh Shop, Errol, Jen, Mido, THC to BTC, B channel, man, like crazy. This guy, like superlatives. I don't know if that's an English word, but I pretty much used all of the superlatives. I don't know if that's the word to say thanks to B channel. But what a guy! Yo, B channel. By the way, hoodie is coming. So for the giveaway winners, I ordered all the hoodies, ordered all the t-shirts, ordered all the caps. They're coming. I got the cards as well because I'm going to add handwritten cards. I ordered them from the business of a friend of mine. So I will add these as well. And I got the packaging. And I love the color blue. So I got blue packaging. It's A3 packaging. So it needs to be big enough because of the hoodies, right? So it's quite big. This will be used for the t-shirts, the hoodies, and of course the caps, right? And I'll make it... make it all nice, put the stuff in here, and then send it all across the globe because all of you are coming from literally everywhere. Yeah, I love the color blue, man. Such a nice packaging. I like it. Sunrise, welcome. Dropping after halving rather normal. Yeah, I don't know what other halvings did, but I think indeed it is common, for whatever common is, because it only happened a few times in Bitcoin's history that of course we had a halving. But yeah, it does happen that price go down. How can we subscribe if we don't have credit card? Subscribe. I mean the channel of course is for free, but for membership, that's a good one because I don't yet have crypto options. I don't actually know how to add these, so I need to research this. Other than that, it's Patreon or the join button on YouTube. So join is below the live stream. Ooh. And Patreon, the link of Patreon is in the description. Yeah. And in both cases, of course, you need a card. I don't yet have... USDT and that sort of stuff. I need to look into that because I start to get more questions. It's interesting, you're in crypto and stuff, but I don't have those options. So I don't know. I have to see how that works, I suppose. Good morning, Crazy Potato. How are you doing? As long as Packers don't say easy toys, I think it's okay. Yeah, exactly. Hey, my alarm goes off, which means it is time for me to end the live stream because I have to catch a train. I'm going to have a barbecue with my friends tonight. So tonight, no update. right? No regular update, but you know what we're looking for, right? With regards to the probabilities, still expecting more downside on the 1 hour. Even if you move up from here, we still expect a bigger move to the downside eventually, hitting that support, filling the 2 hour gap. So patience is necessary. Any bounce towards the upside can be quite interesting for sure. So if we see proof of resistance, you know the resistance, you know the support, you know the daily probabilities, the 4 hour and the 1 hour. Most